Welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report. I'm joined today by Hofstra softball head coach Larissa Anderson. Thanks for joining me today, Coach.
My pleasure.
Welcome back from Florida for the third
Thank
time. The Pride went 2-3 this weekend, topping Florida Gulf Coast and Florida State on Friday, falling to number 6 Oregon and number 13 Florida State on Saturday, and falling to Florida Gulf Coast on Sunday. Coach, your overall assessment on this weekend, especially with those two impressive wins to start things out?
Friday was a good day. We played very well all the way around. All weekend long, we got great pitching. And I was very, very impressed with what our pitching staff was able to do and played great defense. We were able to squeak out a couple wins on Friday and played Oregon very tough. It was an emotionally and mentally draining game. Pretty much almost 2 games wrapped up into one. Would have been nice to be able to come away with that win, but I was very impressed overall with how we played.
You talk about that Oregon game. That was a team that struggled against when you saw them in Oregon last year. To play such a tight game, 11 innings, with a team like that, what does that say about your team, even though you didn't come away with the win?
You know, it shows really how much our pitching staff has grown. That was the big difference. When we went out there last year, we really struggled on the mound. We gave up a lot of free bases, a lot of walks. They hit the ball hard, very hard off of us. So it was great to see that both our pitchers were very competitive. I mean, they had a hard time hitting against our pitchers. So it was great to see that they've come a long way since then. We played great defense all the way through. I'm very impressed with Sophie Dandola and what she's been able to do, first time experiencing playing at this level. So overall, happy. I mean, we're still leaving a lot of people on base. We have to be able to come through in those situations. Looking back, I think we've had the bases loaded 22 times so far this year, and we're just not getting those key hits in those situations. So it's a good thing that we're getting people on base. Now we have to start being able to have quality at-bats in those situations.
You mentioned the pitching and been to more than a few extra innings games so far this season, including 10 innings against Florida State on Friday and then 11 innings against Oregon on Saturday. With such a small pitching staff, does fatigue then become
It did. It did in that second game against Florida State, and it did on Sunday. They were tired, and after we played Florida State on Saturday, and we're disappointed that we lose because we always go out and we're always expecting to win. But it was explaining to the team that not only is it physically draining, it's mentally and emotionally draining because you have to put so much into every play and every pitch when you're playing teams at that level, because at any time if the ball goes over the heart of the plate, it could be hit out of the park. So we have to concentrate at a whole other level that they haven't really experienced up to this point. So yeah, we were exhausted on Sunday. That's not to say that that's because of the result, but it's just they have to experience that. And playing at that level, that's a conference championship regional atmosphere. And it was great experience for them because they haven't been in that situation yet.
Now you've kind of closed out this kind of beginning chunk of your schedule with your 3 Florida tournaments, heading home now to face Fordham on March 13th. Fingers crossed for good weather for that one. What have you kind of seen from the team so far at this point in the season? What has impressed you, and what do you think still needs a little bit of work?
The whole key to our game is pitching. And with our pitchers not being able to throw in dirt right now, they haven't been outside, I'm very impressed with where they are. They're competing all the time. They're not giving up free bases. They have unbelievable control right now. So I foresee that they're going to continue to get better because they're going to keep learning from every outing that they have. I have to monitor what they do during the week and make sure that I don't burn them out too much. So we're really being cautious in a lot of their recovery and what we're doing to be able to get them to bounce back a lot quicker. Defensively, very, very strong. And some of the plays that we're making in the infield are very impressive. Some of the double plays. Caitlin Musa is doing an outstanding job behind the plate. She's not giving up a lot of stolen bases. So some of those things that we're doing very, very well offensively is where we really need to get better. We're not having quality at bats. And you can't look at our stats because batting average really isn't an indication on how well a hitter is doing. What I look at is the quality at bats, and are we getting on base, and are we controlling the strike zone? And those are the types of things that we have to continue to try to see pitching outside because it's completely different than seeing it in an indoor cage. So taking advantage of when we do have a little bit warmer weather to be able to put them in a little bit more game atmosphere.
Now, I mentioned you don't play again until March 13th, and it is a home game. How does that little bit of time off, not necessarily time off, but time between games and it being a home game, how is that going to benefit the team?
It's perfect timing. You know, we were able to give them a couple days off this week so they can let their bodies recover from such a grueling weekend, and then we can get back to work where we can really concentrate on fixing things and getting things better. So we don't have the urgency on, okay, we only have a couple practices, then we have to go play another game. We have some time here that we can really fine-tune some things.
The Pride has its home opener on March 13th, hosting Fordham at Bill Edwards Stadium at 3 p.m. This has been the WB Mason Coaches Report with Hofstra softball head coach Larissa Anderson. Thanks again for joining me, Coach.
My pleasure.